hand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The 13th meeting of the Mineral County Board of Education is called to order. Everyone is present. Number 4, please.
I recommend approval of the agenda with one change on consent agenda. Number 2, personnel. Number 3 should say effective January 2nd, 2026. Just a correction there.
For the superintendent's recommendation, is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 5-0, and that takes us to communications, board comments, and we will start down with Mr. Ashby.
The only thing I have, I'll just want to wish Frankfurt the best on playing the state championship again. Wish them the best of luck. Hope they do good. And any other sports to be done. We're going to get ready to start basketball and everything. Hope you all have a good season.
That's all I have. Just wishing you good luck. Second.
I'm also saluting the program for being able to get optimal performance out of kids for so many consecutive weeks is a real accomplishment. And wishing them well. And then also saluting the people who do the turkey trot at the Kaiser Primary School. Oh my gosh, I felt really badly that I only went to see the kindergarten run on Friday, that I missed some other things, but as I want to do, I have plenty of photographs documenting all of the fun that I had. Watching 6-year-olds do roughly a half mile, I'm guessing maybe it's a little more than a half mile, but and then the phys ed teachers dressed up as turkeys to present the medals to the winners. Man, and man, the kids were just wonderful. So I'm saluting them for doing that. Nice. That's all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just echo that we wish the best of luck to Frankfurt, and congratulations on making it to States 2 years in a row. That's awesome. That's fine.
And I will ditto the good luck statement, and that's all I have, and we will go to superintendent's update.
Just a few things, and Doc sparked my memory that I forgot to mention last time, or maybe I did. So either way, I'll say it twice. Our veterans programs at the schools this year were really good. Kaiser High School did one like they hadn't before with a program and a little luncheon afterwards. And it was really well attended. The staff did a great job with it, the students as well. And they also celebrated our two students at Kaiser High have been recommended for military academies, which is a rare feat in our county. And the elementary schools all did great jobs as well with their programs, the ones that I was able to see. I can't make all of them, but they did really good with that. Of course, also wish Frankfurt well. I'll be down there for SSAC meetings anyway, so look forward to watching them play. And since it's a weather day, just our kind of annual update on how we do our weather days. To start with today I should say, when we have to call a delay, we need to make that decision by 5:15, 5:30 at the latest, so we can get the message out to all the bus drivers and cooks and anyone who comes in early. If we delay, we have until 7:15, 7:30. So today was one of those days where we had until 7:15, 7:30 to make a decision. So they're out riding around. Because it didn't start until 2, 3 a.m., we wanted to give it more time so they could go out and ride the roads, because we were afraid we wouldn't know any more 5 than we would at 3 a.m. So, but as far as cancellations go, we get 5 cancellations that are billed in with accrued instructional time. So there's 5 days that we don't make up. Past that is where we look at NTID days, the non-traditional instructional days. And if you recall, in my tenure, last year was the first year we had to use those. Because I had to look at the calendar. I think we used more PL days this year, professional learning days. But those are also available to us. I think we might have 1 or 2 that we could use. So I think we could go 7 before kids have to change their calendar, and 5 before it changes the staff calendar. and our average has been around 5 as long as I've been here. So hopefully we have a light winter this year, or it just snows starting on Friday nights. That would be better. So that's generally what it is. We get 5 because of accrued instructional time, and then we have up to 5 NTID, and then you have 1 or 2, I think we have left of PL. So technically you could miss 12 days of school without drastically impacting the student calendar. But we're not fans of non-traditional instructional days. So we really try not to use those if we can avoid it. But nonetheless, we've instructed our principals to work with their staff and get ready like they did last year. So we don't have to scramble if we get there. I think it was last year when we had like a whole week off or 4 days or something at once, and put us in a bad spot because we didn't have time to meet and get everyone together. So we're trying to stay ahead of it this year, and hopefully it's not too bad. For academic achievement, I'll ask Dr. Ravenscroft to update on his council.
I'll pass this out for everybody. Back in the classroom.
High school classroom, because elementary teachers would have had them on the desk already.
Yeah.
That's so true.
They are convenient little fast.
One of the requirements we have as a district for accepting federal Perkins grants funds is that we're required to have what's called a comprehensive local needs assessment yearly. In the past, it's been done with the same way that I did it, with bringing in local industry leaders and industry that's in our school district and trying to align what we do at the tech center and what skills and accreditations that they come out with, so that they're aligned and not plug and play, but at least ready for the industry that we have in the area. And really the whole goal is just to align that. So if we have specific needs within industry and a specific certification that a student needs, we want to do our best at the tech center to make sure that they're coming out ready for that. We invited lots of people from local industry. Turnout was not exactly what I would have liked to have had, but that's kind of par for the course, because we also ended up, even though I scheduled first, that was the awards dinner for the County Chamber of Commerce, and that put a pretty big hit on it. But I was able to take their comments and their answers to the questions and come up with for you all an executive summary and a 1-page handout of areas that are doing well and some areas of concern. In terms of doing well, we have students that come out prepared as welders, in terms of agriculture. We need to do some better areas, some better jobs in terms of modernizing our facilities and equipment. As we're all aware, we have the oldest tech center in the state, and I had the opportunity right before Thanksgiving break to tour Putnam County's tech center as well as Nicholas County's as part of some CTE meetings, and was very impressed with what they're offering. In terms of instructors, we are still well over 90% in terms of certified instructors at our tech center. And frankly, we were at 100% before this year with our ECAT. So we're still doing quite well in terms of who we have instructing the students. We also, one area that we know before this we need to do better is with student internships, getting students out into internships, paid or unpaid, that are in their areas of concentration, as well as before they're becoming completers. One of the ways that we're looking to do that, not next year, but the year after, is through CWST, which is a work experience course that they can take and then actually go out during the day and work in local industry. So this is the responses from our business community that was in attendance, and just wanted to provide you all an update of that. And we'll get all that sent in for our Perkins grants, Perkins grant requirements, and for the mandates that come along with that.
And I would add too that these priorities aren't just speaking to us. It's also the things that we will share with our legislators, with the ways that they can help us. So, you look at improving educator pay. That's not something that we have a ton of power over. Modernizing facilities and equipment. We're working on different avenues for trying to find funding for a new facility. Hopefully not too long term, but we're looking at the avenues there to try and, because we do have industry here. We're one of the few non-large counties that our school system or a hospital or a Walmart isn't the biggest employer. So we're fortunate there. So we need to capitalize on that and see what we can do to keep people here and make sure they have good jobs when they leave. So thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you. We do not have any signed up for public comments, so number 7, please.
I recommend approval of minutes from the regular meeting of November 18th, 2025.
You heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 5-0. That takes us to our action agenda on 1A, please.
I recommend approval of policy 5460, graduation requirements. This is an update.
You heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
We do have some discussion here, and I'll let Dr. Ravenscroft take the lead, but it's twofold. It's adjusting to some changes that are based on changes from the state code level, the things that have been codified, and also adjusting to kind of match what we're doing anyway. You know, sometimes you get into your policy and you're like, no, that doesn't quite always vibe with exactly how we do it all the time. So take it away.
So we knew that the personal finance credit a few years back was going to be a requirement for the class of 2028, which is our current sophomore class at both high schools. They have to have a credit of personal finance prior to graduation. In terms of who can teach that and which certification levels are, can teach that course, it fell under really our business programs. And we are one of the few counties, and I really tried to find the data on this a couple months ago, working with State Department people, and they can't pull it. I wanted to know how many counties still required business computer applications 1 as a graduation requirement. Locally, I can't find any that do. So what we were looking at was we have a local requirement that students take business computer applications 1, and now with the same group of teachers, the same personnel, we needed to fit in personal finance for all of those students. Looking at sheer numbers and working with our principals and counselors, and we had about a 2.5-hour meeting in here one day in October to make sure what avenues did we have and what options did we have. We would have needed a total of 26 sections between BCA and personal finance to fulfill that requirement, which is well beyond what we have in terms of personnel.
It's double that department.
Your only other option is to add teachers, which we know that that's not much of an option, and finding people who are certified with that certification would be difficult. So what we looked at was how can we make this work and still help our business pathways. Specifically, we have business enterprise, which requires BCA 1. Business enterprise is a completer pathway at the tech center. It also requires a class called office procedures and business and marketing essentials. Those 3 courses currently are both taught at Kaiser and Frankfurt high schools. The 4th course, I can't even remember what it was now, I apologize. The 4th course was taught at the tech center. And then when they took that course, they became a completer. So what we have done in changing this requirement and eliminating the local BCA requirement is that we will still have at our high schools as an elective now, not a requirement, BCA 1, and both middle schools, Frankfurt and Kaiser, have been instructed to make sure that kids who are college bound get into that elective, because that's a great elective for our students who are college bound to go into Microsoft Office specialties to get those certifications to understand this BCA 1. Once they take that, if they would take the other 2 courses at the school, the 4th course now will be offered by Mrs. Mansfield at the Tech Center, and that will be a dual enrollment business economics through Potomac State. So taught by our instructor, but a dually enrolled course that can lead to 3 college credit hours through Potomac State. We already had teachers, these teachers, same ones, at Frankfurt and Kaiser teaching personal finance, but it was as an elective. So we essentially aren't changing the classes that they're teaching at the 2 high schools. We're just changing what's required. So instead of requiring BCA 1 as a district, we will eliminate that requirement and then adding personal finance, because that's in line with 2510. So that's the need for the change, because otherwise there's really no other way to make it work. We eliminate electives, we possibly eliminate a pathway at the tech center. It gets a little bit messy.
If we left them both as a requirement, we had no choice but to take personal finance. If we left BCA as a requirement, it also takes away a choice for a kid when they're going through high school. And the less choices they have, the more likely they are to be engaged in the school. And we saw that a lot. I mean, you look at a freshman these days has what, one, maybe two choices?
Usually one.
One choice in the class. Sophomore, two, maybe three. So they really don't get any choices of their courses until they get to junior year. And we're working to try and change that so they can get more choices early. And that's part of what this is about. And definitely having more choices later.
And we also, while we were kind of realigning the business enterprise pathway, we also had entrepreneurship and accounting, which were not well attended by our students. They weren't taking those courses. So we've taken those two. It only affected really a handful of students. We've taken those two pathways for next year. We're going to grandfather in the kids that are in them so that they can complete. But we're adding what's called marketing management, which is a pathway that other tech centers have. And 2 of the 4 courses in there will be dual enrolled through Potomac State as well, including an internship.
So we're adding 3 dual enrollment.
We're adding 3 dual enrollments with this change, all taught by Mrs. Mansfield at the Tech Center, who can teach them, so we don't have to bring in an outside professor. We don't have to realign schedules with Potomac State. It's going to be added onto our level up agreement that you all agreed to last year, so it's not at any cost to us as a district. And it also gives our students more opportunities if they're looking at a business and going into business as a major. And then the other change that you have there on that was that we still required as a district 1 math credit per year in high school. We have already 4 required math credits from the state of West Virginia. So if a student was taking Math 1 as an 8th grader, that would mean that they'd have to take 5 in order to meet our requirement. Or if a student is taking Intro to Math Apps, which we use for freshmen who are struggling in math, and Math 1 in 1 year, that means that they could possibly get out of that as a senior if they pass everything. And it would open up more electives and more opportunities to be a complete.
And the majority of the students who take Math 1 in 8th grade will still probably take 5 maths, because those are the students that want to get into your AP calcs and all those things.
Right.
Where we ran into issues, and I've seen this for at least 10 years, this has been the policy, or because it used to be the state, and the state backed off of it, but Mineral County didn't. Is you get students who are career bound, and we have to enroll them in math as a senior, even though they already have 4 credits. Mm-hmm. What we do, we just took away one of their choices, and we put them into a class that they don't need, don't care about, don't need to graduate, and we didn't. And now they have personal finance. So I think of personal finance as a math class, even though it doesn't count as a math requirement. So it really helps. Doc and I talked about it earlier. It's a small group of kids, but it really does help give them more options that senior year.
I was gonna say too, there are 8th grade students who could be in Math 1, and some of them choose not to be because they don't want 5 years of math. You know, some of them are like, it's punitive if they're not in a math track or a math field that they're going into, you know.
Well, we have students that are taking Math 1 and 8, 2 and 3 as freshmen and sophomores, and then we aligned our schedule last year where they took Math 4 and college algebra as a junior. So they have 5 math credits, but in order to meet our requirement, they now have to take something else as a senior when they freed themselves up. Mm-hmm. And for me personally, my highest level of math is college algebra. I took at Potomac State. So they can even, and our college algebra is dual enrolled, so they can get that college credit out of the way as a junior in high school and free up their senior year a little bit more.
Any questions about that?
I'll just let you know that Mr. Youngbrand, when we went to school, the teachers really ripped into him about it, because I threw him under the bus and I said, this is his fault. Legislature passed this, it's an unfunded mandate that they do this to us, and then we gotta figure out how to do it. So Rick was threw under the bus in front of teachers by me. And basically, I'm not gonna lie about it, because I said, I'm tired of this, the legislature does this, don't give us the funds to put these teachers in. So the teachers were really complaining about it, that, hey, we're gonna lose this to do this.
Well, it's not just the staffing that's a major financial part of it, and being able to find people, but it's also that you're taking away an option for a kid, for a student to be able to take something in their pathway sooner, like the different types of courses they may take. So in theory, like I never had a problem with personal finance being required, but it's like, what does it replace? And I like BCA 1. I mean, we have nothing against BCA 1. I'll probably still have my kids take it when they get there, but BCA one, what do they, we used to call what, computer apps?
Business computer application.
Yeah. It was keyboarding-ish when I was there, and then it evolved. You know, it started with keyboarding, and then you learned Excel and Word. And these kids are 10 years ahead of where I was as a freshman. You know what I mean? And we had computers. I'm saying that the need for it isn't the same as it used to be. So that's.
Well, our teachers did a great job with it. We know from the students we've sent to nationals and worlds that they excelled at what they taught.
Yes.
And we still have an opportunity with that by keeping it as an elective at both schools and by hopefully getting some kids that are college bound and keeping the messaging there and the vision that this is for college bound students. Make sure if you're college bound, get this class, it'll be helpful for you. And we knew that this would be a difficult decision, you know, when they passed it, but it works out to where this year's juniors will have personal finance at both high schools and we'll take care of it this year. So it'll be that requirement will be out of the way after next year for that graduating class of 2018.
Any questions?
Any further discussion? Not hearing any further discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes 5-0. That takes us to personnel. 2B, please.
I recommend approval of the resignation of Shannon Westover, Community Schools Facilitator, Frankfurt Elementary.
For the superintendent's recommendation, is there a motion? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes 5-0. F1, please.
I recommend approval of placement in coaching vacancy, Caleb Hare, boys basketball auxiliary coach, Frankfurt High School.
For the superintendent's recommendation, is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it. Any discussion? Not hearing any discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes 5-0. 3A, please.
Yeah, so I put discussion possible action, so we can discuss this. One thing I will say ahead of time is if we get into any types of discussions, like we did at our last meeting regarding school safety, then we would need to go into executive session. So if we're just discussing the financials of it and that type of thing, then that's totally fine to discuss. But I just wanted to remind that because two documents in front of you, the lease agreement along with Mr. Wilson's summary of what we talked about last week. Essentially what this is to upgrade all of our safety systems across the county and look at, you know, we know that we don't have the funding to pay for it in one lump sum, excuse me. We also know what we're paying every year to keep a less than stellar system running. So this would take care of our upgrades. You guys got all the details last week, so I don't need to get into all that as far as how that goes. One thing I would highlight is the interest rate that we received on this is much better than last time. I think it comes out to be about $60,000 less each year than the last rate.
Last time, I'm sorry.
Last meeting.
Oh,
Last meeting.
Okay.
It's a new packet that I did check
Okay.
with the others, and this is better.
Okay.
Now it's, I guess I can ask this question. Okay, this is a 10-year lease. Through the years, that if there's a software upgrade, I don't know where I asked this, that's in with this, that you'll upgrade it. Even the 9th year, if there's an upgrade, we'll upgrade it.
Correct.
Okay, now, after the 10 years, the equipment's ours.
Yes.
Then after that, the next board would have to pay for any upgrade.
Correct.
Okay, because that was a question I was asked, was that,
After 10 years, I'm assuming there might be some type of software licensing agreement.
Correct. It would be an extension of the licensing agreement at year 11.
yeah,
And, you know, honestly, 11 years from now, we don't know exactly what that's gonna look like, but you'd be covered for the first 10 years.
that's what I said, 10 years, this equipment's gonna be outdated too. I mean, that's what we were talking about,
Right.
is that it's gonna be outdated, so therefore in 10 years, we will have to get into another lease, or I was just trying to find out how's that work, is that, okay, you're saying that they could do some kind of agreement for another
Yeah, well, we
I guess
would
so.
reevaluate at about year 7 or 8 to determine whether equipment's starting to become end of life, whether we should start a new lease or whether
Yeah.
just continue with a licensing agreement, yes.
Okay. That was my thing was that, so year 7, this could be outdated. Which probably will.
One thing I'd comment about that is the equipment we have, if it worked, would be okay.
Yeah.
The problem we have is that it's subpar, and it's kind of like you have VCR that still works. Well, some people have VCRs that still work, and you can use it, but it doesn't mean it's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what we're running into is our VCRs don't work.
I just, like I said, I'm just trying to keep from getting in an agreement that the next board,
Your Blu-ray.
the board from 10 years now, is not stuck with something that we did right now.
Well,
That's all I'm trying to get in.
technologically speaking, they will probably be bigger and better by then. But this stuff, like 1080p, for instance, high def TV is still awesome. You can get 8K, but whether you decide you need 8K or not is a personal choice. We don't need 8K. 4K is amazing. 8K might be more amazing, but 4K is still amazing. And that's just one way I look at this. In 10 years, 4K is still going to be amazing stuff. But can you get better? Yeah, you can, but do you need it? I believe this stuff will still be good stuff. It'll still be better than a whole lot of people are going to have.
I would venture to say the majority of our equipment is much older than 10 years old right now.
We're using 30-year-old technology right now.
Oh, I'd say we're 20, 30 years old.
Easy.
I mean, I'm gonna say.
But with what you're saying, Donnie, to me, it's a lot like when you put a roof on. You need to make sure that you're budgeting for when it needs replaced.
Yeah.
You can't just shot in the dark and not think about the next replacement cost.
I mean, that's all I had. I just want to get that clarified for me. And
I'm on board with it from the last meeting and the presentation and everything. I guess my question is, I'm sure we run that by our financial people and it's
That's
all-
where we got our numbers from. Is that on here?
I got numbers for the last 6 years, and I got them dual sets of numbers. I got them from Mrs. Martin and from Mr. Peter, and I have made sure to filter out any personnel stats because when I asked for safety and security, different times there were numbers in there for pro officers and for salary. So I made sure to eliminate all those. I combined all numbers from different sources and I averaged, and this is representative of a 6-year period. And bear in mind that when I first got here, numbers were very, very low. They were artificially high during COVID. And this year they're artificially low because we didn't have a vendor. We fired the previous one for reasons you already know about, and we haven't yet been able to get into full swing with our new vendor. So factoring out the artificial lows and artificial highs, the median spending I think is represented on there, and also factored into that pretty harsh summary I put together to paint the reality is that median spending, considering also what we're gonna have to spend no matter what we do.
Cost effective. Okay, I just wanted to, thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, there's a no matter what part to this too. That could be
Right.
triple that next year.
And to follow up on your question, the hardware, yes, it's still 10 years old and it will have a life beyond that, but all the firmware, all the technology, all the improvements that Motorola is going to do as far as firmware and all that, you're going to be given that right up until the 10th year.
Yeah.
So in essence, the technology will not be 10 years old, just the hardware will be 10 years old.
well, yeah, that's what I was asking. Like in 9 years, you come up with a new software, we still get
You
that.
still get it.
I'll give you a cell phone number.
Yeah, and then, Motorola's been put around. We're not going anywhere, and we're going to be here to support you guys.
And I mean, you said, I know the Capitol has it, there's other school systems that has your systems.
Yes.
Would you be willing to say a couple of school systems? I mean, just,
I am newer to West Virginia, so I would have to get with Bill Miller to get you a list of names. Yes, but yes, for sure.
No, like I said, just trying to make sure we're not, as I told you down there, I don't want you to be blowing smoke up my, you know what, and then here we are, we're stuck with something that, and I wasn't afraid to ask that.
All right.
Remind me, or let me try to go through what I'm aware of in terms of our long-term debt. The Council Primary School, we're gonna be paying that off,
I think we have 2 payments left.
2 payments left. That's roughly,
I think it's close to this. I can't think off.
I was thinking, it was ballpark.
Ballpark.
2 payments left. The heating, air conditioning thing that we did.
Oh, that one's, you talking about the energy savings?
Yeah.
It's on, we're on the hook for that for, I think it was
35.
it was a 15, I think, because it was signed right before I got here.
Yeah.
So I think it's 2035, but if it was delayed a year, it's 2036. Well, that's the balloon one, that goes up every year, so I want to think it's around 6 or 7.
And then the new one that we just did last year in terms of allowing us to be able to do some long-term kinds of things, roof here, okay, and so with all of that long-term kind of debt, and I appreciate the report that you did, we looking around the room are comfortable that this is the right direction.
So we're gonna have to spend it anyway.
And we might as well have a system instead of doing it piecemeal and not having anybody helping us to do it. I get that part.
Yeah, and I'm just circle back on that, just, that I know Mrs. Martin can't be here, but, and I know some of these things make her nervous. So we have communicated with her and she feels comfortable.
I don't know if we were able to get over to.
Since she's out recovering, I haven't bothered her with the question, are you ready to write the check for this? But that would be the next phase, and I frankly didn't want to do that without you all saying it's something you support.
I mean, it totally makes sense to me, but I'm also not the CEO.
Understood.
But I mean, if I agree, but I just want to make sure that she's also on board since she's in charge of writing the check.
And given what you had said, Troy, in terms of if in fact this is a better interest rate than what we thought we were getting, and we do have the $146,000 incentive that you had noted, putting it off is not in anybody's best interest, I don't think.
And I'm gonna state, I was telling, I think it was John, when I told him, I said, it's not his fault, it's not Troy's fault, this has been let go for years.
Oh, yeah.
And things have been let go for years, like the heats and everything, and now all of a sudden we gotta try to do this. Should have been down through the years, should have been trying to take school the time to do it, and it never was done. Now all of a sudden we're having to try to keep schools open, we had to do the heat.
This is something I wish we had an opportunity about 4 or 5 years ago.
In
because of what we
fairness,
spent in the meantime.
and that's true. In fairness, I have tried to find these guys that I didn't know existed since I got here.
Yeah.
And I've interviewed multiple integrators and vendors, and nobody could do all, we'll call it the infrastructure, the connectivity that these guys could, or we would have had this discussion years ago. And John has been a part of that, hunting for somebody who could had the capability that the electronic specialist of Motorola has. We stumbled across them by accident when Jay Harris ran into somebody at the facilities conference. And this has been a 3-year rolling progression to get to here.
And up to this point, all we've talked about, myself especially, have been dollars and cents. And let's face it, I mean, the bottom line to all of this is we're talking about safety for children and staff. And the dollars and cents aren't near as important as the safety for the long-term safety for children and staff.
Complying with code is a really big deal to me personally. And, you know, Dr. Ravenscroft is eloquently speaks about the educational paths and opportunities. And I know safety and security and I learn more every day. And my concern, day and night, is keeping everybody in this county safe. And this is one incident avoided pays for this times 10.
Yes.
And I know there's a practical side to
Yes,
that as well.
Yes.
I knew that.
Yeah.
But this positions us in a very good place, comparatively speaking, especially.
And I think.
And I know you know.
Yeah, but I appreciate you articulating that, but I think also, we are, grateful to the citizens of the county for supporting the excess levy, because without the
Amen.
excess levy, there's no way I'm supporting
Agreed.
any kind of deal like this, because I'm looking at that and saying, okay, we're gonna have to do some things down the road. If we have to squeeze, we've got a little bit more there to squeeze than what we would otherwise.
And I respect that is what you all do, and that's part of your responsibility. And that's not what I do.
Yeah.
I come with the my side of the knowledge, and you guys have the fiduciary responsibility that you do. And my job is just to present what I've presented, and then trust your decision making, and I do completely. So I'm going to shut up now. I've said my part.
Let me ask one other question. I know we talked about this in the past. Once we get this system in place, we can have our own person. We don't have to pay a company to maintain it.
So that's one
That
of
may not be a good question to ask. but-
No, it's a perfect question to ask. In fact, we had to get on the edge of a lawsuit with our previous provider to get the access codes to the equipment we own, bought and paid for, owned, to say replace a camera if it went down. They wouldn't give it to us. John Droppelman and I went to great lengths to try to get those access codes. They wouldn't give them to us.
They give us everything and we run it.
We are.
But if there's something that needs fixed on their end, that's part of the agreement.
Bill Miller, the vice president of Electronic Specialties, who is the local integrator and has taken us on personally as the guy, has worked and will continue to work hand in hand with Ryan, which is something that the other guys just didn't do. And that created so many problems. There was a strong dislike there, we'll say, and for good reasons, which is why a lot of the things happened that should have never happened, not on Ryan, on the other guys. They backdoored, they violated code in installations. Well, now there's a partnership already, and it's very well understood on both sides that we have to work with Ryan, with our tech department, so that things will work smoothly, correctly. There's no hoarding of codes. So they're already working. When the materials list was created for this big, beautiful plan, we worked with Ryan and his department for what kind of switches, what brand, what kind of cabling, what kind of everything would you prefer should this go through, so that this is most compatible with your network. Your network, Ryan, this is yours.
Well, it's the same thing we did like when we built the new school. They're right there on the ground floor for when we start doing the design of all the networking and everything, so we're getting what they want and what they use already. So everything integrates and works together.
And that's never happened before. Thus, some of the problems we've had, this incompatibility of systems, those guys hijacked network, they did everything wrong. Hope they're not watching. But Donnie, to answer your question, yeah, it has been looked at, the possibility that down the road of us having an in-house person just for this. But like
This also kind of circumvents the need for that, because we were getting ready to do it ourselves. We were getting ready to do the upgrade ourselves. So we're circumventing that need of additional help.
that would have taken 20 years and probably more money in the long run to upgrade.
And we're gonna be hitting serious personnel issues, at least in my mind. I think we are in the upcoming couple of months or so. I think what I'm hearing you say is the combination of you and our tech staff, we're gonna manage this now. Yes, indeed, if our tech staff has to go get additional training in, or there's additional responsibilities and we have to pay somebody more, I'm not averse to that. But I am averse, I'm just saying I'm averse, just one of five, to say, now, hey, remember you paid for all of that, we need somebody else out here in the county office.
That was what we were talking about previously before this, was that we needed an extra set of hands just to do the installations and run all the wires and get these things done little by little.
Yeah,
That's where we're alleviating that.
okay,
Yeah,
good.
they have factored in and are ready to rock on our say-so, with mass shipment of equipment and cable pulling to get busy. And I've requested, as recently as today, the very first order of business is to, as quickly as possible, get self-contained special ed classrooms to code.
Yeah.
So that is immediately taken care of.
And get rid of, and in the process of doing that, getting rid of some of the things that could become hazardous from the old system.
Absolutely.
And I did hear that in that presentation.
Yes, sir.
that we heard.
Timeline, what are we talking about timeline, have every school done?
To have every school done, I don't want to answer for them, but I'd say you're looking at a year minimum.
I think that's what he said in the last meeting.
It's a
I thought that's
massive
what it was,
job.
I just want to make sure.
The target is a year, but obviously, there may be delays. Unforeseen delays.
This time next year, you're gonna tell me you're done, right?
Under budget and on time.
I mean, if anybody's gonna keep it to the timeline, it will be Bill Miller at ESC. Great integrator and a great person to work with.
Good.
They're looking at possibility of even purchasing a local building to be able to work out of and give their guys a place to be here for this whole project, to be as responsive
I was
as
leasing
possible.
some space at Fort Ashby.
Listen, I already told them I have a barn out back. I could, 6-8 grand. No, they're,
I'm serious.
will prove to be. I already told them they could use that for free storage, for the equipment to get done as quickly, but as thoroughly.
You're not allowed to negotiate.
I didn't negotiate anything, except my salary, which we should talk about at some point.
Would you like for me to make a recommendation?
Well, I mean, I'm hearing that everybody is supportive. My only issue is we don't have somebody from finance here today, and I think that unless we really think that this is gonna change before next meeting, I think we should have somebody, either Mr. Peter or Ms. Martin by phone. I think we should have somebody here before we vote.
I would ask one question and tell me to shut up. I'm fine with that if I'm out of line by asking this. If, and I'll ask you this too, based on the,
Well, before you say it, I know what you're gonna say.
yeah,
If you want to approve it and wait on me to sign it, I have to take the agreement through legal anyway. If you want me to approve it and wait to sign it, I could do that. Because I don't know how that works with the financing portion, but that's the only part that worries me is the rates.
Yeah, I don't object to what Dr.
Right,
Gannon is
yeah.
suggesting, I just don't want to lose the interest rate and the incentive.
Yeah, there are the two factors, the interest rate, which was guaranteed through a certain date, and also the incentive tied to the 19th, yes.
So the incentive is tied to the 19th of December.
Correct.
And the interest rate could change tomorrow.
I have to check on what date that was guaranteed through.
I'm okay going with what you said, we approve it.
if we can do that.
Cause I could bring it, if something doesn't work out, I could bring it back,
Like an approval contingent on,
approved contingent.
Upon discussing with finance.
Well, legal and financial review.
Yeah, yeah,
I like that.
I like it.
I'd like to go ahead and get that finance, I want to get.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanna get that, so.
Yeah, it's significantly cheaper than it was at the last one.
Because you could probably take care of those two things fairly quickly, where possibly you have to call a special meeting or wait for 2 weeks, right? So, I like
Cause if it's your direction that I have to get legal and financial approval prior to signing it, then I'm not signing it until I have those things.
Yeah, I'm good with that, so we'll get that.
Okay, you gotta make a recommendation.
I recommend approval of the school safety upgrades with Motorola Solutions pending legal and financial review.
You heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 5-0. That takes us to the consent agenda.
I recommend approval of the consent agenda.
You heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 5-0, and, I will move that we go into executive session for personnel, a personnel recommendation. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 5-0, and we'll clear the room. The date and time of the next meeting is the 16th at 5 p.m. And we are back in open session. Is there a recommendation for termination of the personnel contract?
I recommend the termination of Sam Snowberger.
You heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any discussion. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? That passes 5-0. And again, the date and time of our next meeting is December the 16th at 5 p.m. in the Ford Room. And this meeting is adjourned.